subscribe, and ring the bell. Good morning, crypto friends. How we doing out there? Glitched right up first thing this morning. Let's look at the charts. Looking over to BTC USD. Getting on up into that 59K zone. So we are looking down at support at the 58, 129.12. Resistance up there, the 59.370. Got us a stop loss going on this particular trade. So going to put it just below this 100-day moving average in case we have to come down and test that out. Let's move on to Ethereum rocket ship. Looks like we got up there all the way up to, where was that? 1948.29 in the overbought on the RSI here. So we're going to need to come down and cool off a little bit. Let that RSI get below that 70 range. So we're going to look down at support right on this Fib 50 at the 1896.85 and resistance at the 1935.44. I just noticed that I didn't change that one. Let me do that real quick. There we go. For Ethereum, so excuse me, a little lighter volume this morning. So just keep an eye on the volume and the overbought RSI for Ethereum. Moving on to BNB. Binance Coin. We're going to have support down at the 295.8268. We do have the 12/26 day moving average all fanned out where they're supposed to be now. Just watching this RSI as we're bouncing around that 70 range of overbought. So look for it to just ride this 12-day moving average for support and resistance up there to 315.869 for Binance Coin. Let's look at ADA, Cardano. Looks like we got some algos on Cardano here going sideways. Can't seem to get above that 100-day moving average as they're all starting to converge for an explosion. So watch that. It could go either way. So that's the resistance at the 1.207, support 1.1659 for Cardano. Moving on to DOD, PolkaDot. Got up there, did we touch? Didn't quite. Yeah, we could have got out if we would have been up at 3 in the morning. Well, it's like we're still in good shape. So we'll look at support at the 35.8793 and resistance up there on that previous high to 38.86. Volume starting to pick up just a little bit and the RSI dancing on that 70. So watch that. For DOT USD, let's move on to Litecoin, LTC USD. Got resistance up to 197.63, support down here at the 194, and got a stop just beneath that previous low. Gonna keep that one on there tight for Litecoin. Let's move on to LINK USD. Chainlink. We have support at the 29.349, resistance at the 30.523 for Chainlink, LINK. Moving on to XLM Stellar. Trying to get above that resistance right there. So we got some price pivots here to get through. So watching for resistance up to 0.406 and support down here all the way here. So, yep, at the 0.3985. Let's move on to VET, Vechain. Vechain, you have support down here at the 0.08650, resistance at the 0.09107 for VET USD. Looking at VTHO USD. Just triggered my stop loss for this particular one, so I'm completely out of that one for a while. Looking at support to hold down here at the 0.0138 and resistance at the 0.0166. Trying to get above that 100-day moving average. Moving on to FIL, I would watch this one. Is it oversold? So it could have a bounce coming. Let's move on to FIL USD. Head up here to the all-time high for FIL. And so we have resistance at the previous all-time high at the 222.814. Support all the way down to the 174.58. So if you manage to get out of that one, if you're still in it, you can trail your stop loss in there. Keep those. It is extremely overbought at the moment, so may need to come and do a rest. Let's move on to IOTA, Internet of Things. We have support at the 1.5266, resistance at the 1.5668 for IOTA. Let's move on to COMP USD. Pretty much the same chart. Different numbers. Support at 434.656 and resistance up there on that swing high at the 471.00. And I would put, if you're trailing this one with a stop, you can put it below this 50 fib here, Fibonacci. Let's move on to BAT. I need your attention, coin. Support 1.1164. Resistance 1.428 as we sit right between the 12 and the 26. Trying to get above there, maintain that support. Moving on to Ethereum Classic. Looking at support on the 13.610. You see where it came right down on this fib number, that 0.236. And resistance up there to 14.349. We did get the cross, the 100-day and the 26-day, which sent us to the upside. We would put our stop just below that first level of that 12-day moving average there. Let's move on to MANA, MANA, USD, C. Support at the 1.00, right there on the $1 psychological, and resistance up at the 1.063 for MANA. Moving on to ZIL, ZIL, USD. We have support just above that 100-day moving average at the 0.171996. Resistance up here at the 0.17893 for ZIL. Let's look at NU, USD. Getting on top of that 100-day moving average. Surfing that wave. Support at the 0.5812. Resistance to 0.5990. Moving on to NMR USD. NMR, you see we have the 12, 26, and the 100-day. We had the 126 cross. So we still have some upside potential. Just could use some more volume. So NMR support at the 52.822. Resistance at the 54.925. Going on to GRT USD. We have our support at the 1.6943, resistance at the 1.7556 for GRT USD. Uniswap UNI USD. We have support, quite a bit of it, right there at the 28.677, resistance up at the 29.761. And gonna meet up with that 100-day moving average. Moving on to AAVE USD. We have support at the 377.1768. Resistance right at here, double top, 386.390. Moving on to MKR USD. MKR's had a good run. We are at support 2252.81, resistance 2337.39. For MKR, we are in the overbought. So gonna need some time for that RSI to come back down for continuation. So moving on to audio. Got this one in a tight range, been going sideways for almost a day now or so. Support setting down at the 2.978, resistance at the 3.203. And we do have the all-time high in sight. Let's move on to CHZ USD. Holding that support at the 0.48941, resistance up at the 0.503 for CHZ. Moving on to Theta. Very similar looking chart. Support at the 11.882. Resistance up there at the, first going to have that guy, 12.218 for Theta USD. Let's have a look at ENJ USD. Support right here at the 2.515. Resistance up at the 2.654 for ENJ USD. Moving on to ONE, Harmony One. Pretty much identical candles. We have support at the 0.1784, resistance at the 0.1955 for Harmony One. Then looking at storage, hopefully you got a piece of this one, STORJ USD. So gonna have resistance to encounter. I'll split this one up really quickly here. There we are. Go to the 30-minute. Looks like we're still on the climb. We got some altitude left here. There it is. Tighten that one up. Back to the 4-hour. We have support at 3.1546, resistance at the 3.318. Moving on to Bitcoin dominance has dropped below 60. As you can see, we are dialed down to 59.95, so shed some weight on BTC. So I imagine that's in the alts where you'll find that. And we can confirm that by looking at total, which is the total crypto market cap is up to 1,822 billion. So on the rise. Folks, that does it for me. Hope you're doing great things out there. Be sure to like, subscribe. We'll be back tonight, Crypto Happy Hour, 6 p.m. See you then.